Hello. This video is going to be about a bill that Nicola Sturgeon and her friends have cooked up, which makes gender assignment, it puts it into the hands of anyone over the age of 16. If you're over 16, you can walk into whatever office it is, and you can say you are male or female, whatever, declare yourself to be that gender, and that's enough. That's it. You have a certificate saying you are what you say you are. I'm interrupting myself to remind you that I'm Granniopteryx on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I let you know when I've uploaded a new video on Twitter, Gab and Parler, where I am at Granniopteryx. Please help my channel by liking, click that like button, by sharing and by subscribing. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, they're a bit lax about letting you know when I've uploaded a video and about keeping my subscription. So do check your subscription if you think you are subscribed. Right. Also, you can help me financially, buy me a coffee or one of the other links in the description. Okay, back to the show. Right, and there has been, I did do a video about this before, and I speculated on why, and my speculation was that she lives in some sort of a fantasy world, and this is all part of her fantasy. I found a better possible reason here, and that's why I'm making a second video about it. Ministers threaten legal action over fears Nicola Sturgeon's gender bill could lead to trans tourism. By ministers, we're talking here about the UK government ministers. All right, so it says here, the SNP's overhaul of transgender laws could allow 16-year-olds in England to travel to Scotland to change their status by signing a form. That's all it would take. No medical intervention, not even any psychological or psychiatric testing or anything. You can just go up to Scotland and say you are what you think you are. This is incredibly dangerous. I mean, I'm not talking about people going from England to Scotland, but for the Scots themselves. Yeah, a lot of confused kids, and some 16-year-old under pressure from exams and not in a good place with his or her parents, just walk in and legally change their gender just like that. It's complete nonsense and socially extremely damaging. But if the Scottish people want to vote for that, well, yeah, maybe, but that shouldn't affect anyone else. Ministers have threatened legal action over Scottish gender recognition reforms. Now, under legislation expected to be passed by the Scottish Parliament before Christmas, people over the age of 16, well, you will be able to apply for a birth certificate with their new sex within 6 months without a gender dysphoria diagnosis. You know, just like that. Sorry. For those of you who aren't British, you might not recognise it. It's a famous British comedian, alas no longer with us, called Tommy Cooper. He did magic as well as comedy. He was very good. Yeah, look him up on YouTube. You're sure to find stuff there. Tommy Cooper. All right, now, ministers are currently studying various avenues, including a possible legal challenge against the measure. They're also looking at whether the UK government could refuse to recognise the Scottish gender recognition certificates. And yeah, that's a good one. Right. So, and this is what a government source said. The SNP's political purpose is very clear. It is to undermine the union. Yeah, so they are sacrificing children. Oh my goodness me, there I am. Again, back on the children thing. I just made a video about children being sacrificed in New Zealand, and I made another video before that about the left and children, and now we've got this. It's always children that totalitarians go for. Anyway, yeah, back to, there is legal advice coming in on this. We are exploring it all the different possibilities and options. Nothing is off the table. The fact is that, as it says, Sturgeon wants to undermine the union, and she is quite happy to sacrifice children in pursuit of this. Remember what Sam Harris said about Hunter Biden? Always a higher purpose. You can have a lot of confused kids wandering around with certificates saying they are what they aren't. And that's, you know, ending up in probably very bad places psychologically. And yeah, that's of no concern in service of Sturgeon's political ambitions. Let's see. This is Kemi Badenoch talking, I think, our Women and Equalities Minister. Individuals contemplating the very serious step of changing their legal sex need clarity on the process that they must undertake. And I am concerned about the impact of having divergent regimes in the different parts of the UK, she said. All right. Well, so yeah, the big problem is this. Not that well, I mean, it's a big problem having a lot of confused kids, but there is something worse involved. And this was brought up here. Last month, the legislation was dealt a blow when Rem Al-Sasmen, the UN Special Rapporteur on violence against women and girls, warned the First Minister that her proposed laws risk opening the door to predatory males abusing women in single-sex spaces. You see, what you've got here is, let's assume, a man who has an agenda with regard to women, goes to Scotland, declares himself to be a woman, and then comes back anywhere in the UK with a certificate saying he's a woman, and then getting access to women's spaces, changing rooms, domestic violence shelters, hospital wards, anything like that, and then can wreak all sorts of havoc. And Sturgeon just doesn't seem to care. And obviously she's got the backing of people in her government as well. It is astonishing. This is what Mr. Al-Sasman says. It's astonishing to see how recklessly the SNP have dismissed and ignored the concerns of a United Nations expert on violence against women and girls. Miss Hamilton said, oh yeah, I don't know who I missed that. Anyway, whoever Miss Hamilton is, she said that. And yes, it isn't astonishing though. It's a group of people who have a political agenda and they're prepared to sacrifice anyone or anything in the service of that agenda. And it actually just shows how irresponsible the Scottish National Party is, how little it deserves to be given the reins of any sort of power. And what a scam it is, a mafia organisation, just prepared to do anything to get and to hang on to power. Right, well, yeah, that's it. Gender Recognition Act going through Holyrood now. We should all be very careful of it because it could affect us, and this person is responsible for it. Okay, well, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.